Hey, kid. No peeing in the pool. You know the rules, no peeing in the pool. What do you mean all the kids are peeing in the pool? You think I don't know that? But not from the diving board, come on. Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach. They told me there was a beach boys, but they needed a lifeguard. So here I are. My name is Ken. And actually my job, it's just beach. I'm trained to stand confidently here. But tonight, I'll be your storyteller, because all egos are really just storytellers. So welcome to our celebration of Purim, the annual Jewish Mardi Gras, which you actually say Mardi Gras, a holiday that we stole from pagan celebrations and made our own. Some speculate, about the origins of our celebration, that maybe it came from Babylonia. It resembles really the Babylonian New Year, as it had all the components with the story that is matching the book of Esther. It's quite fascinating. Written long after, obviously the book of Esther was written long after our exile from Persia and Babylon. Now think about it. The Babylonian New Year lasted several days, and it was centered around the myth that the gods cast lots to determine the fate of humanity in the next year. And the word for lots in ancient Babylonian, puru. Sounds familiar. And it was during the vernal equinox that this festival took place, and during that festival, a new queen would be selected when it was needed. A commoner was paraded like a king through the streets. Interesting. And there was a fast that accompanied the celebration, and a condemned criminal was usually also hanged. How easy, right? If you knew of this festival, would it be to write the story of Esther and Mordechai, of really Ishtar and Marduk, the Babylonian goddess and god? So tonight, we retell the ancient story of the book of Esther, the whole Megillah, as we say. And it has been our tradition to do it with costumes and laughter. But you know that her real name wasn't Esther. You know her as Hadassah. I know her as Barbara. And she wasn't supposed to marry Achashverosh. She was supposed to be with me. With her Ken, who definitely is Kenaf. And who is a 10? But I'll tell the story, that's fine. Even though it's really my story, I'll tell her story. You know what we did? We even made it into a spiel, which is Yiddish for play. And then later on, towards the Middle Ages, we even added music. So let's give you a musical taste of our Purim 5788 evening together.
Shushan, which is so very far away now. A king had a queen until he asked her to dance naked, oh wow. She was banished, so the king had to fight. find a new queen and soon now. And he picked Hadassah, but everybody calls her Queen Esther. Hadassah is now Queen Esther.
Esther's cousin Mordecai refused to bow down to
Refused
Haman.
to bow down now, refused to bow down.
Haman got so angry he'd done a real bad scheme
There was
now.
a scheme now, came up with a scheme.
Had the king sign an edict that would kill all the Hebrews. Oh
That
wow!
wouldn't do now, that wouldn't
So
do.
Esther told the king she's Jewish and Haman is now dead in the grave.
Esther's Jewish, Haman's in the grave. Well, we knew all along that the Purim sale was gonna be fun.
We knew all along now, we knew all along.
And since you all are here, well, we're gonna have a fabulous time now.
A fabulous time.
So come along with us, cause we got a lot of things to do now.
A lot to
And
do.
we'll have fun, fun, fun with Purim 5, 7, 8, 5. Beach Boys Fun 5, 7, 8, 5. And we'll have fun, fun, fun with Purim 5, 7, 8, 5. Beach Boys Fun 5, 7, 8, 5. Fun, fun, 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 fun.
I'm ready for anything. You can tell. Okay, we're going to have the lights turned back on because though we celebrate this remarkable holiday together, we also step into Shabbat tonight, so we have to do both. This is a very special Shabbat because on Purim there is a special mitzvah we do, which is called Mishloach Manot. It is the time where it's the Jewish moment for fundraising, annual fundraising, because Mishloach Manot is to send gifts. And so sometimes we just bake cookies and we go from door to door. My grandmother used to tell that back in Algeria, where they were from, they literally would bake cookies and go from door to all their neighbors. And everybody would bring cookies around, and they ate a lot of cookies. But it was a way to build community and to support one another. And the poor were also always invited. In my family, my grandfather made a point every holiday to grab somebody at synagogue and bring him home for dinner. Every time. There was always a stranger in our house, which was the culture they were raised in. That was a normal thing to do. You don't let anybody by themselves, especially on holidays. So this is the holiday of giving, of sharing, of the abundance of our hearts. So we're going to use that for our tzedakah tonight. This is the last Shabbat of this quarter where our tzedakah is going to Bet Aleph Meditative Synagogue. It's a great place. You should check it out sometimes. Because we are really doing what we can to support one another financially. And we've been falling a little bit on hard times. So we're counting on you on this specific holiday in the great mitzvah of Mishloach Manot to support our community. The tzedakah box is in the back of the sanctuary. If you're at home, you can find I'm just looking at. At home, you can find the donate button either on our website or on the app, wherever you are picking it up from. And we thank you for your Mishloach Manot, for your beautiful holiday gift. We're going to have a song, well, actually a nigun, a melody without words, while you find the tzedakah box in the back or find the donate button wherever you are connecting online. And those of you who are lighting candles tonight, please come forward and light our Shabbat candles. Waltz nigun.
Die, 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 die.
for those of you who are here for the first time, first of all, this is always the way I dress for Shabbat services. Second of all, we invite members of our community to come forward and share with us the light they are bringing into their Shabbat. On our right, Sherry Shmodi is lighting our Shabbat candles tonight for her father, Raymond Shmodi, on his 10th yahrzeit. Next to Sherry is Greg, and he's channeling Sarah and Marcus. Greg Rubin is lighting to honor his mother's 3rd yahrzeit this week. Her name was Aviva Bat Yaakov Gershon Verachel. And next to Greg is Jason Wodika, and Jason is lighting in honor of his uncle, Frank Wodika, who passed away on the afternoon of March 19th. At home, Jan Haybarth is lighting a candle, her Shabbat candles tonight, to mark the passing of beloved soul Mama, Doris Paley, who made her peaceful transition this week, Tuesday, March 18th, and to hold a protective space of love for all those who will miss her. She was an extraordinarily courageous and equanimous woman, 88 years young, a trailblazer who made way for generations of women to walk easier paths after her. She was a little bit of an Esther, it sounds like. Also lighting another candle, Jan is lighting another candle to hold in loving care all those who are healing from the loss of miscarriage or the loss of a child. Amen. The blessing, you'll find it on page 1 in your prayer book. We cover our eyes traditionally, unless we need to read the words, of course. But we cover our eyes to remind ourselves that that which we are blessing is the light awakening in each of us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you. So let me catch you up a little bit on what has transpired, despite the fact that the band already told us the entire story in the first song, but never mind that. My story. This is my story. My story begins with a party. It's a party that lasted 180 days. Took a long time to warm up, if you know what I mean. And it took place at the court of the king of Shushan. And who these days doesn't call himself a king? I'm just saying. Achashverosh, whose name was and still is very hard to pronounce, had only been king for 3 years, but boy, it felt like a lot more. And they held a coronation indoors this time because they were afraid too few people would come. However, they made sure that all the big CEOs of Shushan, at the time, of course, were there to pause for the pictures, especially the high-tech leaders at the time. Well, I know you're laughing, but this really was the time when writing on tablets really picked up. You know, stone tablets, of course, stone tablets. On the 7th day of the party, the king asked the village people, the people of the village, I mean, to sing their greatest hit, While I'm See Ya. That was the name of their song. It doesn't translate well from Babylonian. To impress his buddies, the king demanded that his queen Vashti come dance to entertain them. She, however, was only to wear her crown and nothing else. But Vashti refused to comply with the king's orders. We captured their conversation.
Wouldn't it be nice if you danced naked? Then my guests would all be entertained. And wouldn't it be nice if you obeyed me here in Shushan where I've been ordained? You know it's gonna make it that much better. If you dance this way, we'll stay together.
If you dare to ask me to dance naked in the morning, you and I are through. After all these years we've spent together, leaving you is way long overdue.
Happy times together we've been spending, but if you won't dance naked, we are ending. So wouldn't it be nice
If you think and wish and hope and pray it won't come true?
Boo hoo hoo.
Oh babe, there's nothing you can say to make your dream come true.
But we are married.
So what if we're married?
I will be happy.
But I am not happy.
This is not so nice.
You know, it seems the more we talk about it, it only makes it worse. So please, just drop it.
Wait, let's talk about it. It sure would have been nice.
The king was very upset. Very upset. I mean, narcissist as he is, as you can really tell. You know, losing face in front of the other dignitaries, having his authority trampled upon. That hurts. That really hurts. He was always somewhat suspicious of these so-called dignitaries anyways. He resented their wealth. And it was a case for him. It was a case of, the grass being always greener on the other side of the land. And he often plotted to acquire their green land. He did. He asked himself, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I? Anyways. Anyway, losing face in front of them was impossible. Impossible. Vashti had to go. And she, of course, was devastated. But she wasn't going to leave without confronting Achashverosh, without telling him all that he will be missing with her gone, how he really messed things up. Gods only know what he'll be without her.
Maybe I used to love you, but I have my pride, so I'm through. You never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what you'll be without me.
How dare you think you could leave me? Well, life will still go on, believe me. The world is my oyster, you see. And you would be crazy to leave me.
Watch me.
Gods only know what she'll be without me. Knows what she'll be without me. Live without me. Well, my life will go on, believe me.
Your arrogance blinds you to see, but now I have my dignity. God only knows what you'll be without me. God only knows what he'll be without me.
Gods only know what she'll be without me.
Gods only know what you'll be without me.
Gods only know what you'll be without me. Gods only know what I'll be without her.
Faker. You know, Vashti didn't get it. Vashti didn't get it. She didn't get that the king meant for her to disappear. You know, for her to be swimming with the fishes. She needed a professional beach. A mere hour later, after this conversation, her search was already started for her replacement. Enter Mordechai and his first cousin, Hadassah, my one true love, Barbie. He adopted her as his daughter when her parents died. Achashverosh was already sending his soldiers throughout the kingdom to fetch the most beautiful girls and bring them to him, from which the king was to choose his next queen. The king's men found Hadassah beautiful, of course. How could they not? And they brought her, along with several others, to the king's harem. I was devastated. I'm just Ken. And for everyone else, I'd be a 10. She told me, just as before she was taken off to the harem, she told me that she'll be my long-term distance, low-commitment, casual girlfriend. Sublime. I told her to take me with her. I wanted to go to the palace as well, together with her, so that I could rename the palace Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House. I said to her, what if there is beach there? You'll need someone professional in that. But the soldiers wouldn't allow it. I said to them, you guys are not doing patriarchy very well, you know. Hold my ice cream. It looks like this beach was a little too much beach for all of us. I'll beach off with you any day. But it didn't matter. They were armed and very scary. Before she left, Mordechai told her not to reveal that she was Jewish because he feared for her life. There were 12 months of preparation. You didn't know that. 12 months of preparation to shape the women in the harem in the image of what Achashverosh expected of his queen. The first 6 months, each maiden was bathed in oil of myrrh. The second half of the year, she was pampered with perfumes and cosmetics. And then each maiden was to be brought one by one to the king, who would check them out, evaluating which of them would be most pleasing to him. On the other hand, every woman really wanted to be queen. They looked for ways to catch his eyes and make themselves more attractive to him. And the king, of course, I knew it would happen. The king fell head over flip-flops for Esther, my Esther. And she, well, listen up.
I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair. I hear the sound of a gentle breeze on the wind that lifts her perfume through the air. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me excitations.
Squint my eyes, he's more attractive now. A Gentile, well, I hope he will be kind. When I imagine being queen, I can feel the hope of a new world.
I'm picking up the good vibrations. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up the good vibrations. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up the good vibrations. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up the good vibrations. She's giving me excitations.
La 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 la
I'm picking up a
good vibrations,
excitations. I'm picking up a good vibration. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up a good vibration. She's giving me excitations.
Thank God.
Too good. I was really thinking about that moment. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, we rarely even mention it, but the rabbis struggle mightily with this part of the story. Can't you see why? I mean, after all, Esther entered into marriage with a non-Jew. There's a very interesting conversation between the rabbis in the Talmud about what to do with that part of the story and the many problems it raises. And though it seems that today the Orthodox members of our tribe reject completely intermarriages, it's interesting to note that biblical sages and even Talmudic rabbis weren't seeing it that black and white a problem. After all, in their conversations, you can see, after all, one of them, says, well, guys, think about Moses. I mean, Moses married a non-Jewish woman, the daughter of Jethro in the middle of the desert, so, We have to also remember that in biblical and Talmudic times, we, the Jewish people, was a patrilineal descent, right? So that really what was important in this case. And so, Moses could marry a non-Jew. That would work. Also, up until the Middle Ages, we also were somewhat polygamists. All that changed, of course, with the dark Jewish history post-Talmudic times, which ended around the year 900. Because the violence against us played a really big role in radicalizing our religious leaders' position with regard to intermarriages, especially because of the violence and because of the violence to women in our communities. It was easier to know that the sons and the daughters that were born to women, and so we shifted to matrilineal descent because of that. Today, some movement like the Reform movement and Bet Aleph as well recognize either. So maybe things are evolving again in our time, in this age. Speaking of the rabbis of the Talmud, the rabbis of the Talmud also were the ones who set up the order of our prayer books. They are the ones who told us to put the Baruch Hu on page 5, for example. You didn't know that. You didn't know that. In my book, growing up, the Baruch Hu was probably on page 500, but, 5 is good. Please rise as we say the Baruch Hu together. Join me. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Bless the Eternal, the one who is blessing. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Blessed is the Eternal, the one who is blessing eternally. At the top of page 6, we continue with the 6 words of the Shema, the central affirmation of our tradition. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, Israel, the Eternal manifests as all that is. The Eternal is one. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is the name. The splendor of its presence shines eternally. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Shem Kevod Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai And we continue with the Ve'ahavta. You may be seated. Join me. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם לארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Emet. We've done a lot of Purim spiels, and I've shown up in very many different disguises. This might be the first time where I feel the most awkward reciting the blessings this way. I was just very self-conscious. You know, it's okay. Things we do for our tradition. Tradition. Oh no, we already did that one. We did that one several years ago. So, where were we? Oh yeah. So after my Esther became queen, Mordechai and I, because I'm always forgotten, but Mordechai and I would every day wait by the gate of the palace to check on Esther, and make sure that she was doing okay. And as we did so, Mordechai overheard one day the king's own soldiers hatching a plot to kill him. Of course, me and Mordechai alerted Esther. We told her what was going on. We told her about the plot. We told her about the king's life that was in danger. And we said, you need to let people know. You need to let the guards, the other guards, and you need to let the king. Made him aware of the plot against him. Literally, the plot was foiled, thanks to me. And Mordechai, for sure. We saved the king's life, you know. As Ken, I would say, men rule the world. Now, the king was very busy with his harem and his new queen, but mostly his harem. I mean, you know. So he had to appoint a rich man to run the kingdom's affairs while he was busy doing other things. And so he appointed Haman to be second in command in Shushan, the new shadow prime minister, if you want. Now, Haman had a huge... somehow I hear you booing even with more fervor this year. I'm enjoying that. Now, Haman had a huge ego, which was a good match for the king, and immediately proclaimed, and slightly twisted the king's arm, not so much, to have a decree where everyone would bow down and prostrate themselves before him wherever and whenever they saw him. And so, as the decree was promulgated, you should have seen him. He was jumping up and down at the king's rally. Ketamine. And then he broke into a song about himself.
Haman. Ha, 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 ha,
Yeah,
Haman.
I'm Haman. Look at my brawn. I'm Haman. I got you bowing and a kneeling, hurting all your feelings. I'm Haman.
Ha, 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 Haman.
Oh, call me your grace. The king gave me my place. If you don't show respect, then I'll kick sand in your face. I'm Haman.
Ha, 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 ha,
I'm Haman. I want you begging and a pleading, or you'll get a beating. I'm Haman.
ha, 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 Haman. Ha, 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 Haman. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, I'm Haman. I'm not a pawn. I'm Haman. You're gonna wanna stop that booing. What do you think you're doing? I'm Haman.
Ha, 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 Haman.
Well, my name's so grand, you should give me a hand. I'm gonna be remembered as the greatest in the land. I'm Haman. I'm Haman. I don't care what y'all are saying, soon you'll all be praying to Haman. Yeah, I'm Haman. Get off my lawn. Haman. Well, you're all making me unhappy. Better beat it snappy. I'm Haman.
Peggy, where'd you go?
I don't know how they do better every year. Thank you. It's Ken possible, you know. Now, I've shared this before, I know. But it's the key teaching about the holiday of Purim. So listen up. Yes, of course, we must retell the story, the whole Megillah every year. That is the mitzvah. That is the core mitzvah. So weird. But also the celebration of the holiday itself is meant to teach us something. Something even deeper than the story itself. Now, the tradition goes that in Messianic time, in a few years, it is said that in Messianic time, the only holiday that will remain on the Jewish calendar is the holiday of Purim, which is weird. You would think Yom Kippur, Passover. No. The only holiday that will remain on the calendar once the Messiah arrives is Purim. Why? What is it about Purim? I mean, look at me. Does that look like the look for Messianic times? I am ready. Let the Messiah arrive. Oh my God. Because there is an injunction in the celebration of the holiday, not in the book of Esther. In the celebration of the holiday, it says that we are to get ourselves so intoxicated. I can hear a lot of you here already way intoxicated tonight. So intoxicated, in fact, that we would no longer be able to tell the difference between blessed is Mordechai and Arur, cursed is Haman. That we would no longer be able to tell the difference between good and evil. Oh, now that's interesting. We need to be so drunk, God drunken, really, what we talk about. Moved into altered state of consciousness, moved to deeper state of understanding, so that we would reach the level of consciousness, the level of awareness, wherein duality falls apart, falls away. And it's actually based on the story of the Garden of Eden. See, in the story of the Garden, stop it. The story of the Garden of Eden, I'm surrounded. We are ushered out of the garden because we eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. There are no apples, by the way, in case you're wondering. There were no apples in the Garden of Eden. At best, they could have been figs, because we know that Adam and Eve covered their with fig leaves. No apples in the garden. I don't know where that came from. But never scratch that. We eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and therefore we are moved into this world of dualistic consciousness. What brings us back into the garden is to transcend the dualistic consciousness, the opposites, the good and the evil. The first time the word Haman appears in the Torah, fascinating enough, is in the story of the Garden of Eden. Now, you don't know that, but you have to read it without the vowels, and then you understand that you can use the vowels to make the word Haman. Now, when does that happen? God is walking through the garden. God has misplaced Adam and Eve. No GPS. It's like the Garden of Eden must have been, the side of this room, but somehow God misplaced Adam and Eve. I mean, they were the only two people there, and still God misplaced. It's a very fascinating story. And God is wandering the garden looking for Adam and Eve, and then he finds them, and they're covered with the fig leaves. And he says, "What have you done? How did you know you were naked? Haman ha'etz. Did you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil?" Haman ha'etz. Haman in this case is the essence, Haman, Hamin, the essence of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's what he represents. Now, Mordechai is actually not a name. It's a word that is put together from Mara Dachia, which means pure myrrh. Mara Dachia becomes Mordechai, and it's in Hebrew, it means pure myrrh. Now, the association with pure myrrh is that this was the highest, the most expensive, the most pure, the rarest essence you could find, right? And so it represents the highest level of consciousness. Mordechai represents that which brings us back into the garden. And therefore, in the story, it is absolutely normal that Mordechai could not bow down to Haman. Purim is the holiday that helps us transcend all duality, which is why it's going to remain the last holiday on the Jewish calendar once the Messiah comes. And that's why day after day, Haman would pass by the palace's gate and Mordechai would remain standing. But that enraged Haman, who went to confront Mordechai.
Well, I'm Haman, the king's right-hand man, the second most powerful here. And everybody knows to bow down to me. I'll knock you out if you don't kneel. The king's decree demands that everyone show me respect. So bow down to me, follow the decree, because you are my subject. I wish that Mordechai would bow down to me.
There's no way I will ever bow down.
I hereby demand that you bow down to me.
You see, I am a Yehudi. Let me help you understand. I dig a nice tuli and a kippah too. I speak Hebrew to my clan. I've been all around the region, and I've seen all kinds of egos. So I wouldn't wait, don't try to subjugate your mandate, I oppose.
I wish that Mordechai would bow down to me.
There's no way I will ever bow down.
I know you are going to bow down to me. Hey, bow down. Hey, where'd he go? Hey. Why wouldn't he bow down?
So sad, so sad, so sad. Haman found out that Mordechai and I were Jews and decided that the punishment fitting to our not bowing down to him was the capital punishment. And it would have to be wrought upon the entire Jewish community. Mordechai would be hanged on the highest gallows to be built immediately. But it's not just this one Jew that was a threat to the king's authority. It was really all the Jews. So Haman, I don't know why, I keep messing up the names. After raising his hand in the Nazi salute, long before it ever existed, come on, he did, devised a plan to have the Jews of the kingdom eliminated. Now the story becomes a little less funny, a little more uncomfortable, and hopefully not too much prophetic. Haman throws Purim. He casts lots to determine a date and comes up with the number 13. Now that's fascinating because, the decision to kill all the Jews, that took 2 seconds. But to find out which date, that took forever. There was like a meeting, and then after the meeting, they did a doodle poll to try to find out which was the date was the best for as many people as possible. I mean, it took weeks and weeks, and Haman got tired. Haman got tired. He's like, you know what? We're going to just roll the dice and see what happened, because we can't figure it out together. Now, that's because, probably they just dismantled all the decision-making places that would have helped, but never mind that. And so they landed on 13, which is really nowadays what the government is doing. Just like, let's roll the dice and see what happens. Okay, we're going to do that now. It will then be decreed that on the 13th of the month of Adar, the people of Shushan and its soldiers, if they had a moment, would massacre their neighbors, the Jews of the kingdom. And so Haman wrote up the edict for the king to sign by marking it with his signet ring and went to present it to Achashverosh. Now, Haman convinced the king that Jews were traitors of the kingdom and that they shouldn't be tolerated. He even pledged an enormous amount of money he would pay to the kingdom's coffer as a campaign donation to carry out the massacre. Now, the similarities are enough to give us chills, because he even handed him, the king, even handed him his signet ring so that he could seal the decree with the king's seal himself. The equivalent at the time to giving him a chainsaw in today's parlance. The people would rise against the Jews on the 13th of Adar. And Jewish history has shown us that not really the authority, not really the police or the soldiers, but our neighbors were the ones who came to kill us. Now, oftentimes the police or the authorities turned a blind eye. Sometimes they participated, but most of the time, historically, it's been our neighbors. Now, quickly the news spread throughout the Jewish community, of course. As the days and months ticked away, a palpable dread fell on us. Mordechai and I were in mourning, rending our clothes, crying and wailing at the gate of the palace. My Barbie Esther heard of her uncle and I, and sent a servant to ask us why we were so desperately mourning. Mordechai explained to the servant what had happened, gave her a copy of the decree because Esther hadn't seen it yet. Mordechai turns to my Barbie. Maybe she could save us. Maybe she could do something about this. Mordechai told Esther, what if for such a time as this, you had come to be the queen? Time was running out. The storm was coming. If anything was going to happen, it would have to be soon, very soon. Mordechai did his best to convince her to take a stand, to no longer hide her Jewishness from the king.
Mordechai. Oh, what's wrong? Since the 13th of Nisan, I've been going out of my head. Haman's edict wants all the Jews to be dead. What? He's planned it for the 13th of Adar. And I know you think this may be hard, but you must help us, Esther. Tell the king that you are a Jew.
Oi, 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 oi.
Help us, Esther. Help us, Esther.
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 Oi, oi, oi.
Help us, Esther. 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 Tell the king you're a Jew.
Well, I am his wife, and he says that he's my man.
Oh, Esther.
But Haman has come between us, and I know I've got to take a stand.
Oh, Esther.
Well, he won't want me to die. Don't worry, Mordechai. I will plan a dinner and tell the king that I am a Jew. Yai, die, 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 die.
Help us, Esther. Help us, Esther.
Yai, die.
Help us, Esther. Help us, Esther. Help us, Esther. Help us, Esther.
Yai, die.
Help us, Esther. 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 Help us, Esther, please.
I'll tell the king I'm a Jew.
Oh, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Help us, Esther. Help us, Esther. Help us, Esther. Help us, Esther.
I'll tell the king I'm a Jew.
Baruch Hashem.
Don't worry.
Baruch Hashem.
Don't worry.
She makes a great Mordechai. Think about it. It's quite incredible, but what my Esther really did. It's quite incredible. to reveal the truth, to tell the king, to tell even Haman that she is Jewish. I mean, it's so much part of our multi-generational story. And it's even more incredible that she was willing to step on the ledge like that, because we know she knew what just had happened to Vashti. And if the price for standing up for her people was her own life, she would unhesitantly pay it. You know, she was the Gal Gadot of the time. She was Wonder Woman taking on the evils of the world. So Esther asked Mordechai to tell all the Jews to fast for her for 3 days, to pray for her to be successful, that there might be a great healing for the Jewish community. You know what's going to happen next. And just as they did then, to pray and fast for healing, so too this day Jewish communities around the world, every Shabbat and almost every day, pray for healing for their members. And so we do tonight. On this special Shabbat we hold in light of healing, those you have inscribed on our community's healing list, but also those you know in your life to be in need of healing. Healing of body, healing of mind, healing of heart, healing of soul. And as you hold them, we said the Hebrew blessing, Mi sheberach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak veYaakov, Mi sheberach imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Leah veRachel, hu yevarech veYirafeh. At David Mark, Daniel Clark, Maxwell Bernard, Lynn Carroll, Lawrence Stern, Elizabeth Heath, Maggie Pisner, Ronnie Shapiro, Margaret Bergman Ness, Noah Clark, Carlos Taylor, Deborah Liebes, Edward Tensman, Laura Sack Klein, Julie Wilchins, Darcy Donegan, Judy Cohen, Michelle Cooksley, Claire Kelly, Wendy Zeev, Jeannie Waters, Jim Halverson, Zoe Sutter, Ann Adams, Ruth Oppenheimer, Kathleen Anderson, Marianne Spiegel, Jack Chase, Joyce Yachminoff, David Brooks, Lois Brown, Christy McLean, Zareth Irwin, Ann Smithwick Selman, Beverly Sorensen, Leif Sorensen, Kalish Liviel, David Shalloway, Lee Shalloway, Brandon O'Brien, Lexi Hell, Katie Berry Bank Cortes, Linda Morris, Stanley Cohan, Sidney Hoover, Pam Powell, Jan Haybarth, the family of Doris Paley, Mar Lee Radka. And we name in our hearts those we include in the circle of healing on this Shabbat. ימלא רחמים עליהם לחזיקם ולרפאותם ברפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש, רפואת הגוף. And we sing a prayer, an ancient prayer from an ancient wilderness that Moses implored the divine to heal his sister Miriam. We use his words to send healing to all of our loved ones. Elna, refanala. Please, God, let healing be now. Now, it so happens that most nights, Achashverosh had a hard time sleeping. I mean, who knew that Diet Cokes had so much caffeine in them? And so, what would you do when you live in Babylonia, Persia, thousands of years ago? What do you do to put yourself to sleep? I mean, you can't count the sheep because you think of meshwi and barbecues. People in the Middle East, that wouldn't work. When I lived and grew up on the French Riviera, there was an expression, you would go and count the waves. That's cruel. That's a little bit cruel, to go and count the waves. But what do you do? There were no sleeping pills, no Ambient, nothing on TV like Fox News to put you to bed. So what would you do? You had to let go of your cell phone that kept you up. The king had a brilliant idea. Every time that he couldn't fall asleep, he called into the chamberlains of the kingdom and invited them then in his chambers. And while he was lying in bed, he told them, "Recite for me the Chronicles of the Kingdom." It's nothing worse than to have the Chronicles of the Kingdom read to you. This happened. It's like local news. It's like local news. The dog bit the cat, who found the stick, who got the fire, who found the water. boring. And that's what he decided he was going to do. So, to help him get to Sleepy Town, as we call it, one night it was read to him that Mordechai, because he had forgotten, that Mordechai had saved his life by discovering the plot against him. But he also learned, as we will hear in just a second, that nothing was done to honor Mordechai for saving his life.
Come on now, just lay down. Ooh, we're gonna help you fall asleep now. You're tired. Come on, Ahasuerus. He needs us to read him what's happening in the kingdom. It's your turn in the shuk last week. Something happened in the marketplace. All the chickens escaped. They say it was a crazy scene. On the boulevard, a man was caught pickpocketing. He denied the whole thing until they found a bunch of gold rings down on Shushan way. Come on now, just lay down. Ooh, we're gonna help you fall asleep now. You're tired. Come on, Ahasuerus. He needs us to read him what happens in the kingdom. You down to Sleepy Town. You'll hear us read and then you'll get so bored. That's where you wanna go. Way down in Sleepy Town.
Reports coming, we gotta fill him in.
This could help you snooze. A pair of your guards were bad news. They were targeting you till someone overheard their ruse.
It was Mordechai. He heard the plot to end your life. He told Esther to make sure you knew because she is your wife. Down in Shushan land.
Just lay down. Ooh, we're gonna help you fall asleep now. You're tired. Come on, Ahasuerus. He needs us to read him.
Ooh, I'm
happening in
never
the
gonna
kingdom.
fall asleep right now. We gotta find Mordechai and thank him now. He saved my life, you know. So no more Sleepy Town. I need something from you. I need you to find Haman. Tell him I've got a job for him. Tell him it's really important. Okay, off you go.
Did you, come on, did you notice we have steel drums? Come on! Amazing. No, we are. I mean, come on. So, as you heard, the king called upon Haman and asked him, what should be done for a man whom the king desires to honor? Haman, thinking, of course, that the king was talking about him, said that such an incredible man should be dressed in the royal attire, with the royal crown and the king's own clothes. And that man should be paraded on the king's favorite horse throughout the city by the king's highest noble. Know that horses are just men extensions. And that the king, and that is the way that the highest noble should parade that incredible man through the streets of the kingdom, was also to shout, "This is what shall be done for the man whom the king desires to honor." Haman just took patriarchy and turned it patriarchy. The king said, "Very well, do all that you have said, and do it all in honor of Mordechai, as you parade him through the city of Shushan, pulling my favorite horse." Haman was beyond upset. That's when he found out that patriarchy wasn't about horses. And so he lost interest. On the other hand, you can imagine the joy in the Jewish community. Hope was restored. The news that Haman would be parading Mordechai spread fast through the entire community. Maybe finally the Jews could win and defeat the tyrant. Her Barbies, her resolve strengthened by what had just happened. My Barbie, your Esther, decided to plan for a banquet, a dinner, where the king and Haman would be the only ones invited. There, she would reveal herself and beg the king to reverse the decree to save not only her people, but her life as well. Haman was thrilled to be the sole guest, the guest of honor of the king and the queen, of course. Narcissism sometimes blinds us all. Things went from bad to worse for Haman. Esther revealed herself to the king. She disclaimed her Jewishness and told the king what awful decree Haman had promulgated to kill all the Jews in the kingdom. The king became livid. He stepped out of the room into the palace garden, to think and try to compose himself, to think about what should happen next. Meanwhile, Haman is freaking out. He collapses at the feet of my Barbie, of your Esther. She was just sitting there on the couch. He grabs her dress while on his knees begging her to save him. That's exactly when the king walks back into the room and he sees Haman seemingly assaulting his queen. The king rages that Haman is just so violent towards the queen, and he has him arrested. But this is really just the broad lines of what happened in the story. The story was eventually told slightly differently. Here is what actually happened.
He's going down. Haman's going down. My dearest, down, going down. He's going down. Here's the thing. Down, going down. He's going down. Down, going down. He's going down. Down, going down. He's going down. See, Haman made a plan to murder every Jew, but what you don't understand is that includes me too. So if you let him get away with this plan he made, then my family's gonna suffer from his mad tirade. Please take him down.
Down, going down, he's going down.
Take him down.
Down, down, going down, Haman's going
Maybe
down.
cut off his head.
Down, going down, he's
I'd
going
like to
down.
see him dead.
Down, going down, Haman's going down. I'll
He's
take
going
him down,
down,
down. Take him down, down, down. Ooh, wah, 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 wah. I knew I never should have trusted that obnoxious creep. I can't believe that he'd do something to make you weep. So don't you worry, sweetie, he's already gone. I'm gonna hang him from the gallows at the break of dawn.
Yeah,
I'll
take him
down, down, take him down. He's going down.
Going down.
Take him down, down. Haman's going
Hang him
down.
up to
Down, down, going down. He's
And
going
we'll all
down.
be okay.
Down, down, going down. Haman's going down.
He's going down.
He's going down.
Going down.
Down, down, going down. He's going down. Down, going down. He's
And
going
we'll all be
down.
okay.
Down, down, going down. Haman's going down. Down, going down. Down, down, going down. Haman's going down. Down, down, going down. He's going down. Down, down, going down. Haman's going down. Down, going down.
That is exactly how it happened. We found a video footage. We simply just duplicated it. Now, one of the attending banquet chamberlains tell the king that Haman had also planned to hang Mordechai the Jew on the gallows he had made especially for him. Right then and there, the king condemns Haman, as you saw, to be hanged on the gallows in Mordechai's place. Now, you would think that after that, it would have been easy for the king to reverse Haman's decree. But it was sealed with the king's ring. And so the only thing the king could do was to write an additional decree that one would allow the Jews in the kingdom to defend themselves once their neighbors would come to kill them all. And you have to understand, this is a story we have told for thousands of years. You know, it was kind of this myth that we glommed onto, a little bit of a ray of light in the Jewish annual cycle of holidays. Because for 2,000 years, we read this story every Adar, the one that we shared with you tonight once again. And so the Jews for thousands of years could fantasize about self-defense, fantasize about kings, maybe tsars, who would see them as people, as human beings, like the king in the story eventually did. Fantasize about fighting off their neighbors who came to murder them, men, women, and children, over and over again through our entire history. Even most unlikely to imagine, to fantasize that they could win. In this fantasy, in this story, they do. Now, since we have seen what happened to Haman, it is time for us to close our time together. We have told the story, we have shared the teachings. It is now time to, and I apologize way in advance. I was sitting there and thinking to myself, there is no way I can do the Kaddish dressed like this. I apologize to your loved ones who are on the list. I mean no disrespect, even though I really look disrespectful. Please forgive me. If not, I'll just do an extra day on Yom Kippur. So we turn to, what is it, page? Where's the Kaddish? It's usually on page 13. There it is. Everything is 13 today. And as we turn to the Kaddish, we, again, with sincere apologies, we hold in light of memory those we remember on this night, in this Shabbat, those who have made their transition in recent days, in recent weeks. Doris Paley, a friend of Jan Haybarth, Frank Wodika, Jason Wodika's uncle. On this Shabbat, we also hold in light of memory those who have made their transition this past year. Marilyn Coleman, Dolores Heller, Mike Iverson, Ruth Kalish, Ed Stutner, Debbie Levin Herman, Jackie Curran, Joe Geller, Philip Herzog, Valerie Shanky, Fatima Hersey, Joe Reddish, Aubrey Chase, Erica Pearl, Janet Crowley, Wendy Schaff, Dolores Ament, Dina Griggs, Thomas Atum O'Kane, Benjamin Jacob Meadow, Ann Smith, Mariah Berry, Howard Keith Block, Robert Lee Sherman, Michael Burkhard, Misha Burson, Rich Hull, Amy Lowe, Roy Sproul. On the Shabbat, we also hold in light of memory those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their passing, happens at this time of the year. Henry Zimmerman, Morton Stoll, Jack Lewitt, Gary Drapkin, Aviva Bat Yaakov Gershon Verachel, Raymond Shmodi. Please rise and join me for the Mourner's Kaddish. Can we have a light so people can read together? Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divera cherute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chaye dechot beit Israel, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתהלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לאלה מן כל ביכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. May the one who creates harmony above make peace for us, for all the household of Israel, and for all the peoples of the world. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. We can turn the lights back down. I'm counting on you for our concluding song to come up, stand up, and dance with us. Just a few announcements. We continue our exploration of the Guide of the Perplexed tomorrow morning at 10:30. If you want to attend in person, it's in our office in the little White House across the street this way. You can also attend via Zoom. Just email me, rabbi.olivier@betaleph.org, and I'll send you the link for tomorrow. And if you get our newsletter, then the link is always included there. I'm starting a course on an introduction to Kabbalistic meditation that starts on April 1st. It's free. It's all on Zoom, and it's open to everyone. So don't hesitate to sign up and join me to explore meditation from the Kabbalistic perspective. Now, the next holiday is happening in just a little bit over 3 weeks. Passover. First Seder is April 12th. The Bet Aleph Community Seder is April 13th. Registration is open. We have limited space because literally we have limited space. So register ASAP if you want to find a seat at our tables. I'm also leading a meditation retreat at the very end of May, Friday evening, May 30th, Saturday all day on the 31st, and Sunday, June 1st. So if you want to begin a practice of Kabbalistic meditation, join me for that as well. Our annual community meeting, please mark the date, will be Sunday, June 8th. It will be downstairs here in this space, and we need everyone to come. So please mark your calendar and make sure you make your voice heard. Also check your inbox. There will be an email that will come from the Bet Aleph board to ask you to reply to a survey. We need your input as we find the next evolution of our community, and we want to do it all together. So join us in that. All right, that's all I got. Don't leave after the last song because we have Hamantashen. No, the special cookie for the holiday of Purim. So join us for the Oneg downstairs after we're done with our last song. But before we close with this amazing grand finale we have for you, I want to make sure to thank all of those people, amazing, dedicated people who make this happen every year and just outdo themselves every year. It's quite incredible. So I want to bring out our music director, Diana Rose. That is also how she looks every Shabbat service. Celia Curran. Mike Rufa. Our amazing musicians, keyboardist tonight, Guy Nelson. On the drums, Zach Barnhart. Bass, guitar, and steel drums, Brandon Payton. And our amazing tech team without whom you could not see this either in person or at home. Bruce, Paula, Orion, and Gabe, we love you guys. It is a lot of work, a lot of hours. Stand up and dance.
You see, the king lost his queen. She wouldn't dance his way. He had to search for a new queen to take his blues away.
All over Shushan, the ladies came on display, but the king picked Esther, Surfin Shushan way.
Esther's cousin Mordecai, Shushan was on his way. Wouldn't bow down to Haman, it was on his way. No one wanted a motion, no refused to pay. Trick the king took his leave,
Surfin Shushan way. But Queen Esther was Jewish, and she was afraid that if the edict happened, she too would be slayed. So she hosted a dinner, told the king she's a Jew. The king got rid of Haman, Surfin' Shushan way. We've done so many spiels, we always do our thing. Fiddler, Les Mis, and Hamilton, Disney songs and swing. Beatles, ABBA, and Queen, Earth, Wind, and Fire too. And this year we're surfing Shushan way. And this year we're surfing Shushan way. And this year we're surfing Shushan way. And this year we're surfing Shushan way.
Thank you.
Your attention, please, if we can get a few people to help us transform the space.